Good morning, early birds. Welcome to another episode of the Early Bird, the series where we look at the headlines and see how they will affect the market. Today is 10th of February 2021, and I have a very special report for you. I urge you to listen through the entire report, as there are important information that will help you make informed decisions about the reemergence of the cannabis industry. Now, before we start, just a quick friendly reminder to those who are new to the channel to please hit that subscribe button and stay up to date with what's going on in the stock market. I also have a series called Quick Take where I try to analyze trading and investing opportunities in companies on the Australian and the US stock exchange in less than 10 minutes. All right, without further ado, let's get into it. Marijuana stocks have been rising on expectations of further legalization in America. As of December 2020, 15 US states have legalized the still controversial drug for recreational use in adults, yet it is still considered a federal crime to possess even a joint. One reason that was given for Congress's resistance to the legalization is that USA is a signatory to the United Nations 1961 Single Convention on Narcotic Drug, which classifies cannabis as a dangerous drug without adequate medical value. However, very recently in December 2020, also the United Nations voted 27-25 to remove cannabis from the world's official list of the most dangerous narcotics. Those voted in favor included USA, European nations, and countries like Ecuador. Before we go on, it is important to have a clear definition of the two important but distinct terms, decriminalization and legalization. Decriminalization means to remove penalties associated with the possession of cannabis under a specified amount, although the substance is still considered illegal. Meanwhile, legalization is the complete removal of prohibition against cannabis. According to Article 22 of the United Nations, the International Drug Control Conventions, a signatory party should stop cultivation of cannabis plant if they believe it poses a risk to public health. However, Congress has just recently admitted that it does not see public health risk in cannabis anymore. In early December 2020, the House of Representatives voted in favor of removing marijuana from the Federal Controlled Substance Act. Increasingly, countries around the world are recognizing the failure of prohibition and start to move towards regulated legal markets. In fact, the current system of monitoring and enforcement of cannabis possession is costing governments valuable taxpayers' money and is increasingly being recognized as doing more harm than good. However, with legalization, there is an optimism that it will not only reduce harms to the user, but also reduce spending for governments, but will also create a lucrative industry. In Australia, the 2019 National Drug Strategy Household Survey shows that percentage of Australians who use cannabis has increased from 10.4% to 11.6%. Furthermore, the survey shows that 41% of Australians support the legalization of cannabis. This is a 100% increase in support since 2007, which was around 21%. Moreover, there is an increasing view from the public that cannabis is not a criminal problem, but a health problem. The survey shows that more Australians would like the government to spend more money on education of cannabis rather than law enforcement of the substance. Furthermore, there is an overwhelming community of support for decriminalisation in Australia. South Australia, the ACT, and the Northern Territory have decriminalised cannabis for personal use 3 decades ago. In the later half of 2019, the ACT allowed cultivation of cannabis for personal use. Now let's move on to have a look at the companies that are involved in this space. Most notable, Tilray's share price has grew more than 5 times in a period of less than 2 months. Today it has jumped more than 40%. The chart of Tilray here at the top shows that it has been quietly forgotten until now. And for me, that's a great situation for an investor or trader to find. Basically, it's a forgotten gem. It is important to foresee that bulls will exclaim that the stock will return to its peak of $300 per share. Although this is not an outrageous claim on its own, it is important to consider the time frame. Personally, if this happens over a short period of time, I would be very wary of the possible pump and dump scheme that have very short life, similar to that of GameStop. The second chart on the bottom is that of Cannabis Growth Corporation, which has its share price jumped after CEO stated that the company will be profitable by 2022. From the net income graph section down below, we can see that the company has been at a loss for the years before. However, it is important to keep in perspective that these companies are operating in a new emerging industry. This means the risks are high as well as the rewards. As such, the best way to mitigate any individual risk in such speculative companies is to purchase exchange-traded funds or ETF instead. This involves buying a portion of a portfolio that owns multiple cannabis companies. This will give shareholders the ETF diversification, which reduces the risk of any individual company. As we can see from the chart of ETF MG Alternative Harvest ETF, in a period of less than 6 months, the ETF price has gone from around $10 to $28 at recent close. For now, it is still uncertain when exactly cannabis will be fully legalized in America and Australia, or how quickly other countries will follow, but from the current trend, it is coming, and we will be seeing the rise of the cannabis industry and opportunities for growth. And that is all for today's episode of The Early Bird. Thank you so much to those who tuned in. If you like what you see, please share, like, and subscribe to stay up to date. Please feel free to leave your thoughts on today's topic in the comments below. I'll leave you with a question before you go though. What is your stance on the legalization of cannabis? Please share your answer below in the comment section. I will be doing an episode of The Early Bird every weekday morning, so please hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. So thank you again and have a great day. Bye bye.